All right, GD, you can get started now.
Hello and welcome to everybody. This is always a welcome event to be out in the field with our customers, with our priority partners, CDW in Canada, really working alongside our teams with CDW to bring the best and most opportune opportunity to discuss VMware opportunity, VMware ideas, VMware things you need to get to know about. And this today will be kind of a one-on-one over kind of what's happening today, where we are from a company perspective, where we are from a platform and product perspective, and kind of what we're going to do kind of next to help you out over the next little while. And of course, have an open area at the end for you to put your hand up, ask some questions. We've got some experts in the room from CDW and from VMware by Broadcom. And so we'll kick it off from there. And so my name is Jeff Davey. I'm the field CTO for Canada. I'm a commercial and partner, and really here to help tell the story of where we are today. And I always start with kind of how we're acting, less than where we are. And this is how we're acting. We're acting like the industry that we're in, which is tech, which is changes always often. And we're always here. And actually, since the acquisition that happened just 2 weeks and a year ago, we've had to kind of lean into the change, lean into the opportunity that the Broadcom has brought forward, and kind of really lean into our opportunity to grow with partners and customers out there. And so, one of the things that Broadcom has had over the years is this kind of need and drive towards acquisition. Initially, it was all about the hardware under the hood of things you probably didn't see or hear or know about in the semiconductor world, up against some of these other pretty big players out there. And Broadcom's like inside the things that you likely use every day. They're in the TVs. There's smart chips in the watches and in the devices that you use on a daily basis. And likely, if you sent a bit of data across the internet, it's touched a Broadcom chip each and every day. Actually, the quote is 99% of every piece of data traverses the internet touches a Broadcom chip at one point or another, whether it be networking or compute. Then they went on in 2018 and moved over to some software acquisitions, really kind of rounding out and balancing out the portfolio of the company itself. We are a publicly traded company, so we got to kind of think about those things long term. Moving into the CA technology world, also worked into the security and Symantec. And most recently, like I said, just 2 weeks and a year ago, we got acquired by Broadcom. And Broadcom saw us as an opportunity. They were in a lot of the back-end data infrastructure, but really in the unknown chip area where you couldn't really see a Broadcom logo anywhere. And what they wanted to do is kind of round that out with a software data center approach that can help kind of tie the two, and not really kind of tightly tie, really tie the go-to-market together when you talk about the company as a whole. And really, what they do when they acquire is they really kind of want to lean into the investment in R&D. They got to simplify operations. They're really about streamlining and figuring out kind of the best way to get to our customers, the best way to have our products work for you, and kind of the best partners to help us get there. We have a very good and strong portfolio of revenue. Stock prices, if you check it out, have been growing 5-6-fold over the last just year and a half. And one of the kind of the industry's broadest IP portfolios. We have a lot of patents and a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about, and we're in pretty much everything. And so we have this this history and the heritage of innovating things, and software is no different. And really, when we think about software, like you always kind of say, it's like hardware without software is just a doorstop, and software without hardware is just ones and zeros, and who can do anything with that? But together, that's where we kind of create that opportunity for innovation with our company. And we are still on the same track with Broadcom themselves. In fact, our approach or Broadcom's approach with VMware is to invest $2 billion in investment into our data center cloud products, which is the VMware Cloud Foundation and its adjoining products. And so that's really where we're focused our attention on, really kind of streamlining the product group. We'll talk about that in a second. Working with our partners for the go-to-market and figuring out kind of how what are the best things we need to do for our platforms, and what do our customers need us to kind of really ratchet ourselves around. So that's what Broadcom's all about. This is where we are today. We are in a state of change, of course. Acquisitions this size there's not overnight. So we do have to have an opportunity to make some of those changes, and you'll see ups and downs and back and forths on this stuff. But please put up your hand, ask questions, and talk about, maybe at the end of this, even ask questions particularly about this or other things at the end. So you think about kind of the acquisition. It's really about kind of building off the promise that we brought to market almost 12 years ago, when, maybe even a little bit more of that, when Pat Gelsinger kind of came to the forefront and said, hey, we want to be able to run the customers want to run their data centers like a dial tone, consistent, stable, secure. And really it's about creating that model of consistency so that you can do those wonderful complex things on top without worrying so much if anything's going to kind of come apart or not work or not connect or whatever it is that keeps you up at night in your IT. The underpinning will be consistent and secure and stable and scalable. That's our approach. The complexities of what you do as a business is unique to you. And it's unique to every industry that you're all coming from, and we think of this as ourselves as well, as we eat our own, type of product, and we want to kind of keep that dial tone of the data center approach true and stable. What we didn't have before was our approach to actually make change and create an entire model of consistency, which is why we have shifted our purchasing structure from perpetual to a subscription model, which helps kind of stabilize that acquisition pricing, stabilize that understanding what's coming up over the next year, 10 years, 20 years. It really kind of flattens that out for our customers and ourselves, so we can keep a consistent model of business for you. But really where we're going is the transformation to a cloud. And really it's about, how do we help you get to the place that you need to get to as a company? The opportunity for you is to become more than the technology that you use. It's really to connect the things that are in your business, the people, the tech, and the processes, and kind of package it up so that you can do the unique things that your business needs to do. Whether you're building surfboards, if you're from San Diego, which probably not a lot in this room, or you're the boot manufacturer for Bauer making hockey skates. Either way, you have to have a consistent model of how to create a cloud-like operating model in your data center, whether it's on-premise, edge, or in the cloud. And we want to kind of say that at VMware, we take that seriously, and the dial tone for us is across all three of those planes. Now, the headwinds on this is the limitations of privacy, the high-low costs of up and down, going in and out of cloud, on and off-premise, in and out of edge. These things create a lot of chaos in your spending structure, in your management structure, in your manning structure, the people in your data centers running them, and really kind of creating a lower efficiency of work in your data center, but also an overall infrastructure cost bursting. And in the cloud, you have a great convenience, but the cost can run out of control if let kind of just sit there without any kind of real arms wrapped around it. And so we like to kind of balance those two things out. We're not saying one is better than the other. What we're saying is, traditionally, we kind of really stacked ourselves in the compute, storage, networking, and security silo. And in cloud, we kind of have hundreds and hundreds of different models you can go to kind of get that done. What we have done is kind of put all those things into one thing and kind of applied ourselves on-premise and in the cloud in the same way. And really, it's about kind of creating that streamlined process of running that VMware Cloud Foundation platform on-premise, and when you go to the cloud, it runs the same way. And when you go to the edge, it runs the same way. Your ability to run with effective efficiencies and balanced model of IT, and again, that consistent model of your cloud data center is going to be present everywhere you go. And so that reality is true today. If you're on the VMware Cloud Foundation platform, you really kind of look towards kind of what that looks like. It's really kind of wrapping up management, compute, storage, and networking all together in one kind of homogeneous deployment. Now, it can be managed in different ways, but it gets deployed very similarly across many different planes and many different types of data centers. But really, it's about kind of addressing the traditional silos and kind of deploying it in a consumable way so that you can manage it easier. You can roll out your applications as you wish, whether it's three-tier or it's the new DevOps approach, having storage as a very scalable, high, return on investment approach, and then your networking piece can allow you to deploy and secure and manage the network in a single pane of view. So all of this to say is there's a giant overall cost reduction that happens when you you put all those things, the mass combining of all these things into one deployment. And so having you able to run these and deploy these in your data center is one of the things that we want to kind of make sure that we're leaning into you to allow you to be a part of this opportunity. And really it's about kind of streamlining your effectiveness, creating the opportunity for you to deploy any type of app, in any place at any time with the security you need. And having that resilient and consistent platform so that you can deploy it and redeploy it and destroy and build up and continue to move your business at a speed that keeps you ahead of your competitors, but also is stable and secure. And the more we lean in together, the faster that ROI and time to value is going to be received on your side. Really, it's about kind of delivering the right type of infrastructure with that cloud experience that you've always expected from us, and a secure and resilient platform that's going to be able to deploy anywhere you need it to go. And with that, like the VMware Cloud Foundation, that's the kind of what I would say the flagship platform that's within our portfolio. But there is more to the actual portfolio itself, and I think that this is probably where a lot of folks are like, where does one start and the other one stop? And really, I say it's like it's two products and two platforms, and that's kind of how I've described it up until today. And really, when you start at the kind of baseline, the thing that we've known for the last 20 plus years is vSphere. And vSphere Standard has been the thing that has been deployed the most in the world for us. And it has that very high, consumption rate, has that very, consistent model of deployment. And nobody complains about how vSphere works. It is the thing that really runs virtualization and has driven virtualization to where it is today. However, there's always kind of need for more function and feature and functionality. And when we shifted over to the subscription model, we kind of went from vSphere Standard into the platform of VMware Foundation. Where we have now is we've actually got a stepping stone between, which is we're actually opening up vSphere Enterprise Plus again as an individual standalone product that has all the same rich features that we've had before. And so you have the availability to deploy vSphere Standard for those micro and small remote simple deployments. And we have Enterprise Plus for a same kind of capacity, but really kind of with more feature-rich opportunity. So, Robo Office, you're probably looking at vSphere Standard, more of a rollout of a small kind of micro data center. vSphere Standard or vSphere Enterprise Plus is probably going to be your starting point. But I would suggest that if you're looking at vSphere Enterprise Plus, you might want to look at vSphere Foundation, because the pricing difference between the two are actually not that big. And you can work with your local rep at CDW, and we can talk about what the differentiation between these is. But for what you get from this to Server Foundation, vSphere Foundation, is quite a bit. So as you can see, you've got Kubernetes that's added to the vSphere component. We've actually deployed ARIA Cloud Management, which is VROPS, vRealize operations, and it has a small deployment of vSAN, hyperconverged. You can use likely in a test and dev environment to get your feet wet on kind of what vSAN and hyperconverged is all about. And that kind of deployment, that's the first level of platform. So again, you get all those feature-rich pieces of vSphere Enterprise Plus. You get TKG or the Kubernetes deployments. You also get operations control, and you get a taste test into vSAN to get you started. The next step up from that is what we've just been talking about for the last few slides, which is our entire deployment of VMware Cloud Foundation. And really, that's the kit and caboodle. It's got the management, it's got compute, it's got storage, and it's got networking. And it's got the hardware management and controls and SDDC manager. This is the cloud on-premise. This is, we actually have a SKU coming up. This is going to be VMware Cloud Foundation Edge, or VCFE, which will help you deploy a full cloud in a micro-sized kind of deployment. So you get all the feature-rich of Cloud Foundation, but in a smaller package, so you can deploy them in those edge locations. And so our opportunity here is to kind of figure out where you are on the journey kind of how we can get you there. On top of all of those platforms and products, we do offer up some additional services. VMware vSAN in Foundation, the two platforms can be expanded. So if you get vSAN, you can put more in and just add the capacity. There is ransomware and live recovery that is available for recovery in the cloud. We have firewalling as an option for NSX. So you can up-level your NSX within Cloud Foundation. AVI, or VMware Advanced Load Balancing, is actually a service you can add to VMware Cloud Foundation. Private AI Foundation is something that we've actually recently deployed within this. You can open up a service within your Cloud Foundation and run an AI structure within Cloud Foundation. There's much more details beyond that. If you want to know more about that, get your CDW rep to bring us in, and we can talk about kind of what that looks like. And then, of course, we have the full-blown Kubernetes Tanzu build, which is application platform services on top of all this. So if you have a real large expanse of containerized deployments, application platform services is likely where you're going to want to lean into. And really, all that to say is that, we had 168 products that you could consume before. We are now down to 2 products, 2 platforms, and one goal. One goal is to get you running like a cloud. Now, whatever your level of maturity is today, we want to align ourselves up to that. We want to make sure that we're having that conversation with you and figuring out kind of what's the space in which you want to build yourself into. Where is it you want to start, and where is it you want to go? And how do we apply ourselves in those worlds to help you make good decisions, whether it's cost or convenience or cloud or location or security? We have we can have those unique conversations with you individually. We can't have that here. Obviously, there's a lot of different people in this room. They're going to have different opinions on this. But really, it's about us, finding our way to where you need to be, and then applying ourselves in the model that's going to be best suited for you. Again, those two products, 2 platforms, but one goal of taking you on, helping you down that journey. And really, the journey is about understanding, really about kind of how you use the tools you have today. Sometimes you have other things in your data center that might be, encapsulated in one of our platforms. We should have these discussions and balance the act with what the TCO potentially could be, how vSphere Foundation could remove costs out of your data center, how the VCF full stack or that franchise platform can really help you increase efficiencies, increase automation, create that opportunity for cloud, and kind of putting the gears together for you in a simple software deployment. And when we came to a year and 2 weeks ago, when Broadcom came to us, this is what we look like. We were everything for everybody for all reasons in every industry. And as you can likely imagine, this was a hard kind of model to kind of wrap the arms around. So what Broadcom has done and has allowed us to do is streamline our product group. So we used to have 7 competing heads of state for the R&D, for the attention, for our customers' attention. We now have 1. It's VCF, and everything is a subset of VCF, or VMware Cloud Foundations. And so before we had all the sales leaders and all the sales VPs kind of competing for who gets the most attention. It's 1. We have a sales go-to-market, we have a business unit go-to-market, and they are completely aligned on this. Is we want to help you get to the end of the journey that you need to get to, and we can't do it like this. So what we had to do is really kind of come together with Broadcom, bring it forward, and kind of uniquely put together our go-to-market. And frankly, if I'm speaking, to everybody in this room right now, CDW is the partner of choice when speaking about these types of journeys and these types of conversations. And we want to ensure that that our partnership and their partnership is here to help you execute the things we just discussed. And so I want to just kind of wrap on that and allow us to kind of take some time to answer any questions that you might have. And I know that was fairly short from a presentation standpoint, but I'd rather interact with the group than go through more and more slides themselves. So I'll open it up to anybody that wants to kind of put their hand up or maybe ask a question, or if you want to just put your hand up and say, hey, I'd like to have a call to kind of go in deeper on this versus that. We'd be happy to help you get that arranged. I hope people are able to unmute themselves. Or there's a chat.
Yep, they can unmute themselves, and if you have any
Perfect.
questions, you can put them in the chat as well.
Is there, so to kind of put it to the CDW folks, is there anything that's up and coming that you want to let the customers know about, where we might be able to meet up? Is there something that we can put on the calendar, events or whatnot?
Sorry, are you referring to up and coming events that are already
Yeah.
in the calendar?
Mhm.
Mm,
It's a quiet room. I must have answered every question in my slide deck, which is impossible because it was only 18 minutes.
also just looking at what we have coming up, and honestly, it's a little quieter at the end of the year, typically.
Okay, well, here's the good news is I can share all this stuff that I just shared with you all in a PDF, and I can give it back to Andrea. Andrea, you can send it off to the entire group, and
100%.
they can have that as backup. They also have our contact information, but I honestly would prefer just contact the CDW folks. We have great trust in everything that they're working alongside us with, and really, they are the forefront of how we're kind of are helping our customers kind of get to their journey point and where they need to get to.
Oh, I see a question in the chat.
Perfect.
You do not have to run that Power CLI script. We just need to get the core counts per CPU, physical core counts per CPU in some way, whether that's RV tools, live optics, whatever it is, or just taking a screenshot of your portal there. So from your vCenter.
Yeah, one of the ways is like if you don't want to run that kind of stuff is just have your CDW person kind of walk through with you what you have, what you're running. Again, earlier as we were talking about kind of what your tools, how are you using them, and what how that makes a difference to your kind of infrastructure. CDW can help you kind of bridge that gap to what it looks like now. The other thing I probably should have but didn't put it in this, and I will when I send out the PDF, is when we change from perpetual to subscription, the core we actually changed to core versus socket. So we're at a 16 core minimum. So we got to kind of know what cores are running so we can deploy the new subscription in the right way. And that tool just helps us balance that out. It's a quick and easy way to do it.
Yeah, and I can hop on a phone call with anybody that wants to, and we can go through that little exercise. It usually takes 15 minutes, and then we're good to go get a quote. So.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, again, like Amy said, it's a quick run through. But if you don't feel like you want to run this in your system, it's all good. We can just take an eyeball view at it. It's pretty straightforward. And you just look at vCenter server, and we're good to go. Appreciate the question, Mark. We want to try and make this as simple as possible. I know there's a lot of quote unquote chaos going around in the industry, and we're trying to make it as simple as we can for you. And honestly, the simplest way is to reach out to your CDW folks, and they will do the legwork for you, bring us in when needed, and kind of get the questions answered for you. Okay, well, I think that's Andrea. That's probably good. If you don't have any more questions, I'd be happy to take the heated ones too, if you like. That's kind of my job these days. What I didn't say up front is the field CTO is a shield for all of the heated questions, and I am a person that can have those discussions with you. If something isn't working out the way you think it should, Robbie likely throws me in front and says, "Hey, answer these questions, Jeff."
No, I was just gonna say, I know there's got to be more questions out there.
There
Oh,
might
great.
be. That's okay. You want to do it one-on-one? Again, reach out to your CDW rep. They have our contact information. They can get us on a call. Robert's the smart one. I'm the good-looking one. And this is how we. Oh, all right, Brian. What's holding you back from migrating? You don't have to answer here. I know this is probably a personal thing, but I would love to have a discussion around what the considerations are and kind of where you are today on that discussion.
Yeah, I thought I'd take myself off of mute because it could be a longer conversation if I try to type it
Sure.
out. So currently where I am right now, we are using a competitive product of VMware. But in all my prior roles to being where I am today, we were a VMware shop. So of course, being here, I've absorbed a competitive product, and I want to understand potential migration or path to get back to VMware from what we're using today, and if there is a path, because obviously I'm trying to reduce the risk for my organization from abandoning our current hypervisor. And it's not your number 2 competitor, it's actually something else. And I just don't know if that's even a possibility for us to come back, and what risks we need to kind of mitigate against. So I'm gonna throw a name out there right now that some people in the room might know and may not know. We're using Scale as a hypervisor.
Scale.
And of course, when I got here, it is what it is. But you know, we are planning our let's say refresh, and so of course at that time is when we're going to consider the change. And I just don't know if there is a path to get smoothly from our current hypervisor platform back to vSphere.
That's I mean,
The other way around, it's there, right? Because they've built tools to do it, but I just don't know if the reverse is possible for us.
Let's Amy, if we could get a call together with Brian just to see where he's at and kind of what it is we can do to provide, because there's honestly the best thing we can do, Brian, is include you know, CDW in these, because they have services that kind of help with this type of thing. And I don't want to kind of talk out of turn, but like this is what they do. They make this stuff happen.
Yeah, and you know, off the top of my head, I think VMware Converter might be an option if there's no purpose-built tools. So
yeah, you know, again, right, this is one of those things where, you know, the next refresh is going to be a significant investment for us because our deployment's rather large, and so we want to keep our minds open, you know, to whether or not it makes sense for us to kind of, at least for me and my organization, to recreate that partnership, right, instead of continuing on like we are, because
yeah, and again, you know, VMware Converter, if it's 10 VMs, that's one thing, but if it's 1,000, that's totally different, and you need a different tool. Right. Yeah, we can definitely have those conversations.
Okay, we can do that offline.
Honestly, the warm blanket that I have coming to market is CDW. Like I guess the connection between the vendor and getting it to work is CDW. Like I can talk to you till I'm blue in the face on all the things we could do, but they're the ones that can make it happen. So
I appreciate the time.
Not a problem at all. Well, I know that we have these kind of webcasts set up every 2 or 3 months. So we really look forward to speaking again at the next one. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to address the CDW folks. They can get in contact with us. I will send the new version of the kind of the product grouping that we have so that everybody can have that in hand. And, you know, the best thing you can do is speak up, and we can help address whatever it is you're trying to do. So I want to thank everybody for the time. And thank you, CDW, for helping us set this up and getting us out into the wild with the customers. And happy to be here again.
All right,
Thanks,
sounds
GD.
good.
Thanks,
JD.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, guys.